True horror realty stories.
The house stood at the edge of Blackwood Drive in a quiet suburban town in the northeastern United States, a place where winters stretched long and nights felt heavier than they should have felt. 17-year-old Emily Carter moved there with her mother after her father died in a highway accident, the kind of place where neighbors waved politely but never asked questions, the kind of place where silence lived between houses. Emily never believed in urban legends. She had heard the stories at school, girls daring each other in bathroom mirrors, chanting names, laughing until one of them cried. She always thought fear was something people chose, something dramatic, something fake, but the first night in the house changed that belief completely. The air inside felt colder than outside, even though the heater worked perfectly. The mirrors seemed darker, as if light avoided them. Emily noticed the mirror in her bedroom was older than the rest of the furniture, its surface slightly warped, as if the glass had aged like skin. When she asked her mother about it, she was told it came with the house and replacing it was not a priority. That night Emily lay in bed listening to the unfamiliar sounds of the house, the slow creak of wood, distant pipes knocking, the soft hum of electricity inside the walls. At exactly 12:17 in the morning she heard something else, a faint sound like breathing, but not from her chest. It came from somewhere close, somewhere inside the room. She sat up, heart pounding, eyes scanning the darkness. The mirror reflected her silhouette, pale and tense. She tried to calm herself, blaming imagination, grief, stress, exhaustion, but then she noticed it. The reflection lagged behind her movements, not by much, just enough to feel wrong. She raised her hands slowly and the reflection followed. Half a second later her throat tightened. She whispered, "Hello," feeling foolish. The reflection mouthed the word back, but no sound came from the room. She turned on the bedside lamp. Light filled the space and the mirror behaved normally again. She did not sleep after that. The next day at school her friend Lauren laughed when Emily told her what happened, calling it moving stress ghosts. Lauren dared her to do it, the ritual, the mirror thing. Everyone joked about Blood Mary. Say the name 3 times in the dark. Lauren said nothing happens. Emily refused at first, but that night curiosity mixed with fear. She stood in the bathroom staring at her reflection, the lights on. She told herself she would not do anything stupid. Then the power went out, plunging the house into darkness. The silence returned, heavier than before. Emily froze, her breath loud in her ears. She reached for her phone flashlight, but before she could turn it on she heard a whisper, her name drawn out soft and wet as if spoken through water. She felt her skin crawl. The whisper came again, closer, this time from the mirror. She backed away, shaking, saying no under her breath. The phone light turned on, illuminating the bathroom. The mirror showed her terrified face, but something else too, a shadow standing behind her, tall, thin, its head tilted unnaturally. She spun around. There was nothing. When she looked back at the mirror the shadow was gone, but words were written on the glass, traced as if by a finger from the inside. "Come closer," she screamed, waking her mother, who rushed in, finding Emily sobbing on the floor, bathroom lights flickering back on. Nothing written on the mirror, no shadow, no whisper. Her mother held her, saying it was a nightmare, that moving stress caused hallucinations, but Emily knew what she heard, what she saw. The following days the house grew more oppressive. Mirrors seemed to reflect more than they should. Corners of rooms held shapes that disappeared when stared at. Emily avoided mirrors covering the bedroom, one with a blanket, but even then she felt watched. At night she began researching the house library, records, old newspapers, anything she could find, and that was when she learned about the girl Mary Whitlock who died in the house decades ago. Local records said she was obsessed with her appearance, rumored to practice rituals in mirrors. Townspeople whispered that she was found bleeding in the bathroom, mirror shattered around her body, eyes scratched out. Emily felt sick reading it. Blood Mary was not a game here, it was history. That night Emily heard the whisper again, not just her name but phrases. "You called me, you saw me, you opened the door." She tried ignoring it, covering her ears, but the voice crawled inside her thoughts. Images flooded her mind, a girl trapped behind glass, screaming, pounding, bleeding, wanting out. Emily ran to her mother, begging to leave the house, but her mother insisted they could not afford it. That night Emily lay awake, staring at the ceiling, refusing to look toward the covered mirror. The whisper grew louder, more insistent, as if angered by being ignored. Then the blanket slid off the mirror on its own, pooling on the floor. The mirror surface rippled like water, and a hand pressed against it from the other side, fingers long, bent, wrong, nails dark with dried blood. Emily could not scream, her body froze. The hand withdrew and a face replaced it, pale eyes, hollow mouth stretched into a smile that was too wide. Blood Mary did not speak with words now. Emotions poured through the glass, rage, loneliness, hunger. Emily felt tears streaming down her face as the mirror cracked, slowly spreading fractures like veins across its surface, and then everything stopped. Silence returned. The mirror went still, reflecting only Emily alone, shaking, breathing hard. Morning came with sunlight, birds and normal sounds. The mirror mirror was intact, no cracks, no blanket on the floor. Emily questioned her sanity until she noticed something new, faint scratches on her own arms matching the marks she saw on the face in the mirror. The whisper returned one last time, softer, almost kind. Now we are connected. And Emily knew this was not over, not even close, and somewhere behind the glass something waited, learning her face, her fear, her weakness, preparing to step through in the nights to come. Emily stopped going to school after the scratches appeared. Her mother thought it was trauma, anxiety, maybe delayed grief. Counseling sessions were scheduled, excuses were made, but the house did not allow rest. Every reflective surface felt alive, not just mirrors, windows, phone screens, the dark glass of the television, even a spoon left in the sink seemed to watch her. Emily began wearing hoodies, long sleeves hiding the marks, which multiplied, slowly appearing overnight, thin red lines spelling nothing but meaning something. She could feel it, a presence attached to her breath, her pulse, her reflection. Sleep became impossible. Every time her eyes closed she dreamed of water and glass, of a girl screaming without sound, her mouth filling with blood, her fingers clawing at the inside of a mirror that would not break. Emily started recording herself on her phone, trying to prove she was not crazy. She spoke to the camera, whispering, documenting times, dates, sensations. She filmed the mirrors from a distance, afraid to get too close, afraid of what might appear. When she reviewed the footage, at first there was nothing but static reflections, but on the fourth night she saw it. Watching the video back at 3:13 in the morning, the mirror behind her moved, not rippled, not cracked. It leaned forward as if the reflection itself stepped closer than the real world allowed. A face formed slowly inside the glass, not fully visible but unmistakably female. Eyes dark, hollow, locked onto Emily through the screen. Emily dropped the phone, screaming, waking her mother again. Her mother finally believed something was wrong, not ghosts, not legends, but something real enough to destroy her daughter. They tried leaving for a motel, packing bags, moving fast, but as Emily stepped out of the house she felt a sharp pain behind her eyes, a pressure like hands gripping her skull. The world tilted, reflections everywhere, car windows, storefront, glass puddles on the sidewalk, all showed the same thing, blood. Mary standing behind Emily, smiling wider than possible. The pain became unbearable. Emily collapsed, screaming that she could not leave, that it would not let her. The motel plan was abandoned. Doctors were visited, scans, tests, therapy, nothing explained the shared hallucinations. Emily described in detail what no one else could see. The doctors suggested dissociation, trauma-induced psychosis. Medication dulled Emily but did not silence the whisper, it only slowed it, stretched the voice until it felt like it was echoing through tunnels in her mind. Blood. Mary began speaking in memories, not Emily's memories but her own, showing flashes of the past, a small town, the same house decades earlier, a bathroom filled with candles, a girl standing before the mirror chanting, crying, begging to be beautiful, to be seen, to be loved. The mirror answering, promising everything. Blood. Mary was not summoned, she was born through obsession and pain, trapped when the ritual went wrong, when the mirror cracked, not outward but inward, sealing her between reflections. Emily understood now why the spirit attached itself, why the ritual mattered. Blood. Mary needed someone who looked long enough, someone lonely enough to open the door fully. Emily stopped resisting and started listening, asking questions in her thoughts, bargaining for peace. The answers came in emotions, images, sensations. Blood. Mary wanted release, not revenge. Not at first. She wanted to exist again, to feel air without glass, to be seen without reflection. She needed Emily's help and Emily needed the torment to stop. Their connection deepened. Mirrors no longer scared Emily as much as they fascinated her. She could feel the boundary thinning when she stood close. Her reflection breathed differently, smiled when she did not. The scratches faded, replaced by something worse, faint veins visible under her skin, darkening, light cracks spreading slowly. Her mother noticed changes. Emily speaking to herself, staring into mirrors for hours, refusing to eat unless in the dark. The house became colder, pipes froze, windows frosted from the inside. Neighbors complained about lights flickering, shadows moving behind curtains. Police visited once after a call about screaming but found nothing. Emily knew time was running out. Blood. Mary showed her the final step, the ritual completed, not a game, not a chant but a sacrifice. Emerging reflections aligning, blood sealing the passage. Emily refused, at first horrified, but the pain returned stronger when she resisted. Visions of shattered glass filled her sleep, screams echoing through mirrors in every house on the street. Emily realized Blood. Mary would not be contained much longer. If she did not help, the breaking would happen anyway, and then there would be no choice, no control. Emily made a plan, desperate, reckless. She would end it on her terms, in one place, one mirror, her own bedroom mirror, the oldest, the thinnest barrier. She prepared quietly, gathering candles, salt, a blade she found hidden behind the mirror frame, notes carved into the wood from long ago, symbols scratched deep, Mary's handwriting, her final plea. The night she chose was stormy, rain pounding, thunder masking sound. She locked the bedroom door, drew the curtains, lit the candles, stood barefoot on cold floor, facing herself, facing the thing behind herself. Blood. Mary appeared immediately, clearer than ever, her face almost human now. Eyes filled with longing and hunger, Emily felt tears falling as she spoke, not aloud but in thought, promising to help, promising to finish it if Blood Mary promised one thing: to leave her mother alone, to end it cleanly. Blood Mary smiled and nodded. The ritual began. Emily cut her palm, pressing it to the glass. Blood spread, spidering across the surface. The mirror vibrated, humming like a living thing. Pain and cold surged through Emily as the reflection stepped forward, overlapping her body. Sensations blending, memories colliding. Emily screamed as the world fractured, glass shattered inward, pulling both of them through, and then there was silence, darkness, weightlessness. Emily awoke on the bedroom floor. Candles burned out, rain gone, morning light filtering in. The mirror was gone, not broken, not cracked, simply absent, leaving bare wall. Her mother burst in crying, relief flooding the room. Emily felt empty, lighter. The whisper was gone, the connection severed, but something remained. When Emily looked at the wall, she saw her reflection, faint, embedded in the paint, and behind it another face, smiling, patiently waiting, because merging was never release, it was exchange. And Blood Mary had learned how to walk away, and Emily had learned how to stay behind. Emily did not leave the house after the mirror vanished. The doctors said recovery would take time. Trauma like hers rewired fear itself. Her mother believed the nightmare was over. The scratches healed, the whispers stopped, and for weeks the house felt ordinary again. But Emily knew better, because reflections did not disappear, they relocated. The first sign came from the smallest place, a drop of water in the sink. Emily leaned over, watching it tremble, and inside it she saw an eye blink. She stumbled back, heart racing, telling herself stress, imagination, but the reflections multiplied. The microwave door showed a girl standing where Emily should be, smiling with patience. Windows at night reflected hallways that stretched longer than the house allowed. Phone screens stayed dark but showed movement when tilted. Emily avoided all reflective surfaces, wearing matte clothes, taping over glass, but you cannot escape reflection entirely. Water, metal, darkness, all remember faces. Blood Mary was free, and she was learning the world slowly, carefully. Emily felt the pull, not pain anymore but absence, like missing a limb, like a part of herself walking somewhere else, using her memories, her expressions, her fear. The mother noticed changes again. Emily growing quieter, avoiding light, insisting curtains stay closed. Mirrors were banned from the house, smashed, buried, discarded, but still the presence grew stronger. Neighbors reported seeing Emily standing in their windows at night even when she was asleep. Police returned confused, describing a girl identical to Emily watching from the street, from parked cars, from puddles after rain. Emily finally understood the truth. The ritual did not trap her fully, but it left a door open inside her. Blood Mary did not need mirrors now. She used people, anyone who looked too long, who saw themselves and wished to be more beautiful, more loved, more seen. Emily began seeing news reports, incidents across states, girls found unresponsive in bathrooms, mirrors intact, blood-smeared handprints inside the glass. The legend spreading again, faster than before, modernized, whispered online, challenged on videos. Blood Mary had evolved. Emily felt responsible. Each night she dreamed of the mirror world, endless corridors of glass, doors opening one by one. Blood Mary walking freely, choosing faces, wearing them, discarding them. Emily followed, powerless, screaming without sound. One night Emily woke at 12:17, the same time as the first night, the house silent, her mother asleep. Emily felt calm, too calm. She walked downstairs barefoot, drawn by something gentle, comforting. The bathroom light was on. A mirror stood there, whole, new, clean, impossible. Emily stared at it, knowing this was the end, that Blood Mary needed closure, not freedom but replacement. The reflection smiled. Emily smiled back for the first time without fear, because fear feeds legends, courage ends them. Emily whispered goodbye, not to the spirit but to herself. She pressed her hand to the glass and stepped forward willingly. The mirror did not shatter this time, it opened like water, swallowing her completely. In the real world the mirror showed nothing, just an empty bathroom, quiet, peaceful. The mother would wake to a normal house. The legend would continue, but weaker, distorted, incomplete, because Blood Mary had what she wanted and Emily had chosen what she deserved. Anonymity, silence, stillness. Somewhere behind the glass Emily stood, watching reflections fade, knowing that when people whispered the name and stared too long they would see a face, but it would not be Mary, it would be a girl watching, warning, begging them to look away before the mirror learned them to.